Okay, in this video, I'm just gonna show a little bit of uh, what I'm doing to clean up. Like as you can see, I've already done some cleanup, but you can see there's quite a mess of stuff happening here. And this is the first page, and you can see there's it's taking up a lot of space on there. So um, pretty much the reason why I just do it like this and not do it, in a clean way up front is because I go by trial and error, and I just find it easier to work like this and make sure things work properly the way I need them. And since I've got a lot of stuff, if not all the stuff, and most of the stuff working really well now, I've started to do some actual cleanup on that. So just to show what is involved in that, and I would say some more veteran Kismet guys won't really care. Maybe some new guys to Kismet would find this useful. This involves quite a bit of what I've shown in the earlier videos with these sequences. It's basically the same thing. I'll just show what's actually involved in that. So the reason why I can't just create sequences out of these things, like in these ones, I just have some simple sequences, right? I just got this, going to the trigger volume, and this happens. It's all self-contained. And the reason why I can't just grab these things and create a new sequence out of it is because they use variables, or named variables, I mean, and like these guys or whatever. So it's these guys sticking out here, and they are actually created over here. So I've got my play pawn old, which is the placeable pawn, and I've got my main actual pawn. I've got the walking speed and that stuff. Not everything is actually used. I think I only use these guys. But that's pretty much the reason why I can't just go and select this guy, right click and say create a new sequence, because there's a bunch of variables involved, or named variables involved. Easiest one to show is this one. So it's the the player pawn, right? So just to explain this, this is like I've shown in one of in the previous video with the sequence with the external variable. You have to obviously use the external variable to get a link out to be able to use this named variable. Now the reason why you have to link out is like if your named variable sits in this level, in the sequence, then you need to access it in this level. You can't go into this sequence and then access it. You can do it with remote events, but you can't do it with named variables. And so you have to use the external variable to get access to a named variable on the outside of that sequence, which is obviously this one. So that's that, right? So on the inside here, this is now an external variable, but it's also a named variable, and I can simply do this, but most of the time I like to kind of keep these things contained within their little areas. So that's a big reason why I use a lot of named variables that are just kind of self-contained within a sequence. So that's what this is all about. So otherwise, if you just did this one twice, you would actually get two little links over here, and that's a waste, right? So to just get one and be able to hook this guy up and have both these guys use it, you can just use another named variable on the external variable. So your external variable label is what shows up in here, so you can see what you're trying to hook up if you forget later on. And your variable name is this red that shows up here. That's the name that you can use in a named variable to link them together. So it's the exact same as a normal named variable, except your main variable is an external variable instead. So that's the main kind of basis of how my cleanup works. So you can already see I've got my Z velocity variable, I've got my walking speed variable, I've got my player pawn variable, and I've got my player pawn old variable, and these ones same thing, and these are actually the force objects. And basically these variables are just linking back to these guys. And so I'll just open this up. So the character controls. So you'd remember this from my older videos showing the character controls. Now this is a lot of stuff right to have on this page over here. So it took up a lot of space, and so that's what the cleanup is really all about. It's just to clean that up. So you can see, right? So there's the external variable, and I mean I can go and I can create like a new little place where I just use like the named variables, or the the original variables, and then use the named variables down here. But I decided just to keep it simple, and just the first one that I use is the main variable, and then everyone after that is the named variable linking back to that one. So the player pawn there, that's the external variable, that's the one that actually shows up here, right? Player pawn variable, and these guys link back to this one. So there's a lot of these guys floating around. Okay, so that's pretty much the thing there. So you you can kind of see how this would go, right? So you would like for my player damage and death sequence, I would select these guys, create a sequence, and then replace these guys with the external variable. So I would replace this guy with the player pawn external variable, give it a name, and then replace these guys with the named variable linking back to this guy. And that is pretty much that. I think in this one is an example. So any named variables that are self-contained within the sequence, you don't need to create external variables for them. So these guys link back directly. So the raycast target there, that links back directly to that. I don't need to create an external variable for that. And like I've mentioned, these remote events, they actually work across sequences, so you don't need to do anything special for that. You can just have your named not your name, your remote event call from wherever you like, and have this event actually sit wherever you like in any sequence, and they'll work across sequences. It's just basically the named variables where you have to go and create your external variables, and then you can also name your external variables to keep reusing them within the sequence and not end up with like 20 links for the exact same guy. You just end up with one link there for the variable. And I think that pretty much explains that. It's It's a simple concept. It's not something that that I don't know if it's something that's explained a lot in Kismet videos, or I don't really. The only Kismet videos I've ever watched was very very long ago, the 3D Buzz videos. But yeah, I thought I would just show this kind of cleanup thing, just for interest sake, if somebody finds something in there that's useful. Um, so yeah, I think my very next video would be the gameplay video, and um, usually I would talk over the gameplay video. In this case, I'm not gonna talk over the gameplay video. I'm gonna try and keep it really short. I don't want to make the video really big. Want to do a much higher quality video. So I'm gonna try and just keep the size down by having a much shorter video but much higher quality video. So yeah, I think that's it.